am Sure Sports. You know me there, from coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get your sports over here from near and far. Boy. Me say I am Sure Sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am Sure Sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know no game play, that me not say it. If me never see no game, me no know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you a go love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crapper players. We are good enough. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment, let me know what your thoughts are.
Trick Jerk Marinade gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
Made up of 18 Jamaican herbs and spices, add delicious, bold flavor to your next grilling experience. Flavoring sauce, a marinade, basting, condiment, or topping. Trick Nick Jerk Barbecue Sauce.
All right. Good afternoon. Welcome to I Am Sure Sports. Greetings to all our viewers and subscribers. I am Manning's Man, and it is good to have you back on the platform again. We're going to have a big one today, a very good one. We have several good interviews and show coming up for you. So let me tell you what we're going to do today. We're going to be looking at the Cuban squad for this World Cup. Right, the squad that the Cubans have selected. We're going to give you like the age group and an idea as to where the players play. Where you already know the Jamaican squad that has been selected for this U17 tournament. What we're going to do is to select what we believe is the best possible starting 11 and a formation that can help us in terms of going through. We're going to also look at Trinidad and Tobago. We recently played them in a couple of games, and we will be looking at their squad. They're in a very difficult group. However, if they come out of that group, they have easier running than if Jamaica comes out of that group, right? So they, I think, have a better pathway given the group that they are in, though the group is I believe a more difficult group than the group that Jamaica is in. We will also have a Jamaica youth coach, Andrew Edwards. He's going to join at the latter end of the show to talk to us about his 4 experiences playing against the Cuban team, and he's going to tell us what to expect when we match up against the Cubans. That's Coach Andrew Edwards. He's an educator, as you know, so he has a class at the present moment. All right. So those are some of the things that we are going to be discussing in this particular show. We have a few shows coming up. We have right after this one, we're going to do the second part of our Super Bowl build-up. And for that one, we'll have the man they call Preacher. You know, you'd have heard from one called Garvey. You're going to hear from Preacher and his perspective on the Super Bowl. And then after that, on Friday, there'll be a coming together of all the different views to have a worthwhile debate. We have a massive show coming up at 5 today. At 5 today, we'll be having some friends from out of England. Big fans of football over there. They have Caribbean connections, but they live in England and they run a podcast. They're going to be surprise guests. You see their names on the thumbnail for later. Um, Tony and Apollo. Not going to tell you where they're from, but they're going to come and give us the full breakdown of what is going on with Manchester City, the implications of it. We're going to pull from them what their thoughts on Mason Greenwood, the Caribbean England connection in terms of human resources, in terms of player personnel and strategic development and planning. We're going to discuss that on the show later. Then tomorrow, we're going to have Aaron Wildboy Lawrence in studio with us, right? Keeper that kept for the Jamaica national senior men's team when they played Japan in the World Cup. That's the game that we won. He was in goal. He works in the Turks and the Caicos Islands right now. He'll be on. Then on Friday, it's going to be a real super Friday. We'll be having Rene Simoes and Massimo. Jason have to help me with this, right? He's an author. He wrote a book called Pressing, explaining how you press in football. He's going to be live on I Am Sure Sports. That's tomorrow. And what he's going to do on that particular show, he's having a worldwide webinar with top coaches from England, the EPL, from the Bundesliga, from the La Liga, all over the world. And he is coming on the platform to discuss this and to give local coaches an opportunity to sign up to be a part of this at no cost to them. So it's going to be a big weekend on I Am Sure Sports. Again, so what we ask you to do is to please hit the like button and listen. If you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe to the platform. All right, share it with someone else so we can continue to grow and to build this platform. We want to also, before we get into our content, say a big thank you to two of our sponsors. We have Trickney Catering, who has been with us from before we began, but we also have Prestige Finance, lending a helping hand when you need it the most. You can call Prestige Finance at 876-884-7390, right? And they will lend you up to 100,000 Jamaican dollars. There's no processing fee, same day processing, and only 0 to 4% interest rate. Also, want to say a big thank you to Patrick Reed from a Constant Spring and Waterhouse Football over there at Launch Legacy. Launch Legacy is a place where they handle risk and seek legacy. So for all your personal insurance needs in Canada and the USA, visit Launch Legacy at launchlegacy.com or call or text them at 647-989-0782. All right, I think we have said enough. That's a whole lot in terms of the first that I think it is pronounced Lucchese. Okay, Lucchese. All right, Lucchese. All right, Jason, there you go. I don't want to butcher his name. Yeah. All right, there you go. I think I see Big Crook is saying, where will we be able to watch the boys? All right. I believe it will be streamed on the Flow on the Flow TV network. All right, that I know. If you have access to like Paramount Plus, you can have that. But believe me, there are so many things out there in terms of streaming website for games that you'll be able to find something. Normally, these games are also streamed on the CONCACAF YouTube platform, especially their youth tournaments. So that is a couple of options. But on Sunday, I Am Sure Sports will be doing a live watch along to the stream of the game, where we'll give you, as usual, top class commentary, analysis, and breakdown, and on all the Jamaican games and the games played by Trinidad and Tobago. All right, as you know, the competition begins this weekend. Trinidad and Tobago, they play on the 12th, the 11th. All right, so Jamaica recently played Trinidad and Tobago. So let me show you again. Jamaica, we are in a group with Cuba, Guadeloupe, and Costa Rica. So let's go through some of the things concerning the Jamaican group. I think this is a I don't want to say easy group, but a easier group to come out of, seeing that one of the main things is that 3 teams come out of the group initially. 3 teams. So at the end of this, you will have 16 teams. So if 3 teams come out, there are some other teams who are going to join. So Jamaica, if they can secure 1 win, they are in pole position to qualify from this group. I think how the games have been arranged, it is good for Jamaica, and let me tell you why. They play Cuba, that we have had some level of success against, Guadeloupe, that we have had relative success against, before we play Costa Rica, who from senior to junior level always seems to give us a hard time. Now the squad has been selected. They played yesterday, and there are still many concerns from the viewing public about how the team will look, how the team will perform. Some persons have probably lost confidence in the head coach of the under 17 team, Coach Meron Garden. But I believe that in this team, with all the mishappenings in terms of player selection, I believe that we have 13 quality players who can help us to progress in this. I don't know about the entirety of the squad, but I believe we have, I would go as far as to say 14 players. If we have to go beyond 14 players, I think we're going to be in serious trouble. But we have 2 good goalkeepers, and I think we can find from the 23 quality substitution that could help to swing the game. All right. Some players are still nursing injuries where they can play, but requires consistent or constant treatment that are in the squad. All right. Um, so I believe that we can navigate a way out of the group, and then depending on how we finish and who we face, we may be able to advance. 4 teams qualify. I am hoping that we would. I think it's going to be very, very, very difficult, because there are some other good teams, like the USA team is very, 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 very good. The other team that I think we need to look out for is the Mexican team, as usual. There are 2 very good teams, and this is being played in Guatemala. And normally the host nations are a bit of a challenge, and normally they qualify, right? So I think that is something that we have to consider in this. Like I said, our first game is against Cuba, and what I'm going to do is, given what I've heard and what I've seen of the players in the team, so I've had the privilege of watching some of these guys from U15s all the way up, so I know their quality. All right. Yeah. So let me show you, and then I'm going to open the line, and then you can call in and give me your thoughts in terms of what I call my 11. And when I show you the 11, I'm going to show you what I think would be a very good lineup and a way to play is that can help us. And given what I've heard about the Costa Rican team, from what I've heard, because I have friends who play in the Costa Rican league, they are concerned about their under 17 team. They have had a more competitive build-up. But one of the things that, in terms of coaching, that I want to say, and I know how it is. I'm not a vlogger. I'm not a blogger. I'm a content creator. All right. And One, I don't. People say that I can coach. I have what it takes. I have the qualifications to do it, but I don't consider myself a coach. I don't want to be. So when I share, I'm sharing from what I know, and it may be wrong or pointless. So, what am I trying to say? All right. The part of strategically planning for tournament is gauging your friendly games. So we started out in terms of our under 17 playing like the second tier teams that were adult teams, and then we went into our top tier, the tier one teams, which are Premier League teams. All right. So in terms of coaching, and then we ended with Trinidad and Tobago, which is on par with us. So how you do your coaching, you as you get closer to the competition, you play teams, you play more teams that you can dominate to build confidence. So what I would have proposed to coach Maron Garden is that you start out playing the Premier League teams. You play a couple of them, then you play some teams in the middle, like the UE team that you played and those things. You play them in the middle. Then at the back end of the tournament, you play teams that you can give 5 and 4, because what that would do is build the confidence of your players going forward. And then as you get to the competition, the Trinidad game now is very important. But right before the Trinidad games, having played the Premier League game, you should have played a couple of teams that you dominate, where you get to keep the ball and pass it around and you score a lot of goals. Like you probably played, instead of playing Arnett Gardens, you should have played Arnett Gardens under 17. Because you want the players to play some game to build confidence. Because here's what happened. If they play like what they did against the Premier League teams, they are forced into a defensive posture. So what happens? They are playing against bigger players, stronger players, players who are better conditioned than they are, with quality coaches. When that happens, your team automatically is forced into a defensive posture more than anything else. And so that is going to cause them to develop a more defensive mindset. And so this is why I think the offensive thrust of the team has been affected in these latter stages why people are concerned. That is just my philosophy and my way of thinking and operating as a coach. I want to take my big defeats at the beginning and then my big wins at the back end to build confidence. That is what I would have recommended, and I think would have been better if we had done that. All right. So I'd have probably played one of the high schools and beat them 6 and 7. So my center forward score goals, my wingers, my defenders, and my team get into the habit of scoring goals going into the tournament. All right. People, let me know what are your thoughts on that, because that is how I would have done it. Maybe you disagree with me, which is fine, but give me a reason for your disagreement. All right. So that's point number one I want to make. That is, I believe, good strategic planning. Because before Trinidad and Tobago came to Jamaica, I'm not sure that they played any games. So I think they are going to be affected, because this is the actual Jamaica fixture. I'm going to show you what Trinidad and Tobago will be facing. This is what they will be facing when they go to the World Cup. They actually start their campaign before Jamaica. They start on Saturday, right? And they start out against, watch this, they have their hardest games first. So I think it would have been better for Trinidad and Tobago to build confidence, because you're going to play the USA on the back of 2 defeats to Jamaica. I don't know how confident your players are going to be going into these games. And what could happen to them is that morale is affected, because if they lose to Canada and lose to the United States, going into their final game against Barbados, they would have been on a 4-game losing streak, and that could affect them. So I think the national coaches, the national coaches need to make better decision. You understand me? In terms of, again, strategically arranging and planning. See, Chevron Peart is saying that it makes sense. Yeah. And I say sure improvement. Yeah. So exactly. This is a good point. A lot of teams will do this. They will just play against weaker teams, because in doing that, you build confidence in your team. Now, I look at Trinidad. Trinidad traveled to Jamaica, having not played a series of games where they because they were in camp, right? Understand the need for the games, but what is happening. Having not played a lot of games, they have lost 2 games to Jamaica, going to play against Canada, who people are saying are one of the top teams in this tournament. You want to go into that Canada game having scored 5 and 6 goals, not conceding any. And the best way to have done that is to play what I call weaker opponent, right? You're going against the USA right after that, 2 days after that. And then what I'd consider probably your easiest opponent, you play last. Very sticky situation for them. So I think, though, if they can come out of this, I think Trinidad and Tobago, their running to the semifinal is way easier, because they would not have to play USA and Canada if all 3 come out. Jamaica could end up playing any one of these 2 teams in like round of 16, depending on where they finish, or even in the round of 8. So if Trinidad can come out, though the group is hard, they have a better position than Jamaica coming out of their group, because Jamaica is in an easier group, I believe, than Trinidad and Tobago. All right? Yeah. Big up, Devil Dog. Yeah, so we're going to look at it now. Why do we think... no, well, that's what I'm saying, Rob. I don't know. I did tell you the teams that I think, from my reports, even the Costa Ricans are concerned about their own team. From my reports, the team that most people have been talking about, because I think they have had the longest preparation, and have probably the most quality, is the United States, right? And the Mexican team has been playing for quite a while. All right. So those are the 2 teams. I can't say much about Canada, except if we go by, the past, then we can say, well, they probably have something good going. But so if no, let's look at something else, right? What would I do as a coach, given all the information that I have gathered from what I consider to be reliable sources, and from my own eye test? All right, this is what I would do. All right. I would play, and this is given on some of the team selection of the coach. Now, this is saying a lot about what the coach plans to do. Now, let me explain to you, right? So this Jamaica team would start with Lynch in goal. Lynch is one of the better goalkeepers. He was part of the team in preseason at Mount Pleasant. Yeah, 4 teams will qualify. Collie Sinclair. This one says, big up man is content creator. Definitely C-bar. All right, man, the problem is it takes time to prepare for 3 tournaments. However, they wait until last minute before the JFF and coaching staff. We need early planning and preparation. Absolutely, Coach Barris. And I know you keep on saying that. I hope they will hear this. And like I said, I've said this to you before. I'll say it again. The preparation for the next U17 right? Which is 2025. Yeah, 2025. That preparation starts in March of this year, which is what ought to happen. So at least some steps are being taken. All right. So we don't have to be late by that point because it should have been done. That's the past. They are doing the right thing. All right. All right. So that is it, Coach Barry. So let's forget about that. However, one thing I'll say is that the coach was appointed. The coach was not recently appointed. The coach was appointed for quite a while to take the national team. So it is not like it's a new appointment. He has been appointed close to 2 years or probably 2 years. So he would have had ample time to scout and select players. Why it took so long, I can't get into that. But I don't think there is any point in us discussing those things. That don't fix anything. All right. So now, in the game that was played, Adrian Reed Jr., who is, of course, we all know, an attacking player, very good with the ball, very, very good with the ball, scored a lot of goals for St. George's in the Manning Cup, was a part of their whole course team, also plays for Cavaliers, in the Premier League. All right, has scored goal in the Premier League as well, the JPL. It appears based on what we're seeing that he's going to be playing on the left side of a back three, which has its advantages, right? So it has its advantages. So this is not the coach's starting 11. This is management starting 11. So excuse me, and I'm doing this based on how I think the coach thinks. All right. It is a formation that I like because you're able to transition into several different formations or systems during this, which is when you're defending, right? You will have Molino coming to play left back, who is a right footer playing on the left. That means he can play inverted. He can cut inside and kick off the right. Bolt is is good with his left. So he playing on the right means that he can cut inside and kick off the left. Very good options to play them that way. Now, what you also have, and if you can just follow me. So say the ball is with Reed. Reed will have the freedom to go all the way forward. So that means Molino would push inside and Cohen would go inside. So that Reed would go all the way up. And just picture Dixon coming across, Gooden coming across, and Bolt coming to be a part of the defense. Right? So I think because Reed is able to still provide attack from that position. So if I were a coach, that's what I would do. And this is based on how I think he thinks. He's also very good aerially. Like I said, very good on the ball, which says to me that we can play the ball out the back. Gooden is good on the ball. And I hear Dixon, the Mount Pleasant player, is very, very good on the ball as well. Lynch is also very good with the ball at his feet as a goalkeeper. Like I said, when he comes back from this, he will probably be a part of the Mount Pleasant Premier League team. All right. So Ronaldo Barrett would play that CDM role with Mangatal in there, Molino, Barrett, right? So, when you're defending, you basically drop into a 5-4-1. That's how you transition. So Cohen and Bell comes back into midfield, and Watson becomes your lone striker. That's how I think the team can get the best results out of this, right? This tournament. Now, depending on what the score is, you still have the liberty of going to 2 at the back, which is you push up Reed somewhere up the field, and you can, in other words, you can take out someone, put Reed up, and go with Bolt and Molina playing in defense, so you have 4 defenders. You could easily say Reed play in midfield, or Cohen come back, play in midfield, and you play a 4-3-3, so you can get back in the game. So this is basically putting your best players on the field. All right. Now, truth is, people, I could get into why we have 2 center backs on the bench, and we're taking one of our best offensive players to play in a back 3. I could really ask that question, but I don't want to bring up that negativity at this point. I understand that it doesn't make a lot of sense, because it is really saying those 2 center backs probably are not good enough to be in the team. That is why you have to move the attacking player to come and play at center back. Sure improvement, just letting us know that the Turkish goalkeepers died. Condolences to all affected in the earthquake. Yes, and I heard that the Newcastle player Atsu, he was found and he's alive. All right. Yeah, Champ Deck, listen, we have to do better. We have to do better. We have to do better. I agree with you. We have to do better. But one thing I know is that cussing and ranting and all of that will not change this. So I am trying to think, how can we use what we have? Me? No. How can we use what we have to qualify? Yeah. Yeah. No, not easing them up. I listen. Here's what I say. The only way, remember I did this yesterday at Champ Deck, and I just taking time to answer this, and then I go show you something. The only way Meron Garden keeps this job, in my humble opinion, is if he convincingly qualifies this team for the World Cup. Let me say it again. The only way he keeps the job as the under-17 coach is if he qualifies this team convincingly for the World Cup. Anything else will be considered failure because of some of the players who are not a part of it for whatever reason. Maybe not all of it is his responsibility, right? But let me tell you this starting 11 right now is good. Mangatal is a very good player. Molina is very good. Bell is a Phoenix player, very good. Dunstan Cowan, very good. Adrian Reed, good. Lynch is very good. Barrett is a very good player. Good. I mean, this is a good 11. It is what is beyond the 11 that we have an issue with. Like, how many good substitutions? We have a good reserve goalkeeper. That's one that is very good. And we have some offensive option on the bench as well. So that is why I'm saying that we are around 14 to 15 strong. Anything after that, we are going to be in problem. All right. Andrew 55 says, I hope you guys understand that a back 3 is the way forward for Jamaica, for Jamaica football. All right. Management, why? No, I'm not. Reed as a center back. All I'm saying is that I would not play Reed as a center back, but I can explain to you why. Are the attacking players also really good at defending, but couldn't drastically help bringing out the ball? Not sure it means the center back not good enough. All right, but Adrian, think about this. You have two center backs. In fact, you have two center backs, right? You're playing a back three. This is not like a back two. If it's a back two, I can understand. This is a back three where one will basically sweep the other two. And you are telling me that a center back first is not in that back three. It is a forward. You play there, and it is not because the center back is not good enough. I don't necessarily agree with that. Alex, you need to respect people streaming on me. I'm talking about U17. How you come and ask that question? Don't come no man. Learn to stick to what we're discussing. Yeah. Left, right, and center, a defensive player in should be able to play anywhere in the defense. I can't use my left foot. I play left back. I could play center back. Yep, there you go. If you're using three center back, there is no way I could call a player quality if he cannot get into a three center back team. Something wrong. Something is wrong. So I think I hear Dixon is going to play at the center. So like I said, Coach Boris, is that I think though Reed is playing here, if we watch the tournament, I think Reed is going to push a whole lot forward. So I don't have a way of doing it. So if you can so just picture Reed moving from this position, all right, all the way. Let me see if I can do it. Let me go to this, right? So imagine Reed getting the ball. Oh no, I can't. It can't move, right? Let me see. Can it? Yeah. And Reed goes up here. Here's what I believe. This is what I think the rotation will be on the left. So Reed is going to be able to go all the way up. All the way up. Molina is going to come inside. Leave the space for Reed, right? Cohen, which would mean that oh geez. Which would mean that Cohen is going to come around to partner here. Bell give you a width out here. But at the same time, I think I hear Dixon comes around to keep, you know how it is, to keep your balance. And this player, Bolt, who can play center back, is going to come around. I think that's what we're going to see. So we may see a lot of our attacks going down the left side. That's me. Yeah, it's almost like Reed is going to play box to box because he's one of the better players. I feel like people, again, this is Manning's man. I am not a coach, not a vlogger. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm a content creator. And I'm not saying that this is the way. I'm not saying this is what the coach is going to do. I'm just, from the little I know about football, I'm just making a suggestion. All right. So it is just a suggestion that I'm making. That if Reed plays there, this is the only way it could benefit us because he couldn't just play predominantly to provide solid defense. It must be to create an offensive threat. Right? We have to play in there either for his long diagonal passing ability or because he's very fast. His ability to pick the ball up and push up the field and come back in defense. And we still have a solid defense. That's just my theory. All right, that's my theory. All right, so that's just my theory, and I may be wrong, but that's what I'll do. All right, so that's the Jamaican team, but I want to also show you the Cuban squad because all the players from Cuba they play in Cuba. I don't know the state of the competition. Like I said, I have someone who in under 17 have played Cuba a few times with victory and all of that. All right, so this is the Cuban squad right here. Let me see if I can open it wider. So I don't know if there's anything we can take from this. They have 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you look at their team, they have a 15-year-old goalkeeper and a 17-year-old goalkeeper. My assumption is that the 17-year-olds are going to play. So let's check. 1, 2, 3 17-year-olds. So I was just saying that we could select the Cuban team probably using age, but all the players they play in the Artemisa, they play in Cuba, Las Tunas, FC Pinar del Rio, FC La Habana, Campagny, Las Tuanas, FC La Habana, Matanzas, FC Pinar del Rio, FC La Habana, Artemisa, F Mahibike. Don't know who is this. Welcome to I Am Sure Sports.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, so yeah. So yeah. So that is that is a Cuban team. Like I said, they have some 15-year-olds, they have a couple of 17-year-olds, right? So I don't know much about them, but the coach who knows a lot, he will be on to talk to us about the Cuban team. Now, like I said, listen, momentum, these are, once you get to the knockout stage, anything is sometimes possible. Right? Anything is possible. You just want to get in the knockout stages, and I think without underestimating any team, I believe that we can. So so there's Group A, Group B, Group C, Group D. All right, 4 groups. So 12 teams will come out, and there are 4 teams who are already waiting, which will bring it to 16. And then from those 16 teams, there will be a round of 16, then the round of 8, then the semifinals. The 4 teams in the semifinals will qualify for the World Cup. Right? So I don't know if anyone has information on the team from Cuba. I don't, but yeah, just based on the fact that they play in the leagues over there in Cuba, it doesn't necessarily mean that there are going to be any walkover. But like I said, we have a coach who can tell us about how they play, what kind of system they play, and all of that. So he's going to join the show in the next 10 or so minutes. But in the meantime, you want to, you can call in and you can share your thoughts. All right, you can do that. So just call in, share your thoughts before we have the coach come in and share his thoughts with us about the Cuban team. Yeah, but again, let me go back to the the Jamaican team. Um, and I think the technical ability of the players is very good. Meaning these players. So let's put back Bolt here, Molina here, Gooden here. I hear Dixon here, Adrian Reed here. Then we go Dunstan Cohen comes back here. Yeah. Yeah. So I think this team is good. The 11 and on the bench, I mean, they do have some quality on the bench, I believe. Like I said, if they need to change a goalkeeper, they have a good goalkeeper that they can bring on. They also have Dylan John, who can come on and make a difference. Simmons, who we saw miss the penalty, he's also on the bench as well. I think the I think personally, I think they should have found a way to get this other striker guy called Wilberforce in the first squad and not as a reserve. Yeah. Yeah. So that is man starting 11, you know. What do you think? Well, big coaches in the chat, call in, man, and tell me what you think. People, you know that, big up Ishmael. I don't believe this. Ishmael just gave me some reliable information. Welcome to the chat, Baggio. Bless up, present. Yes, Brian, man, put me comment up, no boss. I don't, no, man, why you want to put up that for Brian, man? No, put up that, man. I don't know what you're talking about. I have to have context to that statement. I'm not putting it up, sir. This is what Ishmael says. Hold on there, Ishmael. Let me really check if it's true you're talking, Ishmael. We can't believe that, man. We can't believe that, man. Come on, people. You have to do better than that. No super chat, no super sticker. At least like the video. Please, at least like the video. All right? At least like the video. At least like the video, man. Come on, man. Can't believe it. From morning 39 likes, see we can get it to 50 likes before the rest of people come on. Welcome to the stream 876. He says, remember, Sean Cooper has been in his TNT position since 2011. He has not qualified TNT for a U17 World Cup and still in the job 12 years later. Whoa, you see that? Look at that. Whoa. Whoa. Thanks for that 876 stream. Can we afford to give a person 12 years though, not qualifying? That's like 6 tournaments every 2 years. I don't know, man. Coach Bar says, man, Cuba will play a 4-4-2 They build out in 1-4-2-4 shape and press very aggressive. All right, all right. There you go. There you go. Coach Barr is telling how the Cubans will play. Yes. So I remember that, but one game he played on the right, the next game he played on the left. So I'm just thinking 876 stream is that the fact that Adrian Reed is an attacker by nature, because Molino is so versatile, if they're playing both of them on the left side, because Reed will be playing on the left, definitely, playing on the left side because he expects like Molino to be cover for Reed, because Reed is probably going to push above Molino. That is the only reason why I have it there like that. I'm just trying to think how we could possibly set up given what we have seen in the practice game, because he's going to play a back three with Adrian Reed, who is like I said, one of our best attackers at on the left side of the back three. So I think because Molina is quick, he's good on the ball, and I think he's very smart defensively. So that's the only reason why I have it. But I'm not sure. Listen, Sean Cooper must be a happy man. I don't think any coach in Jamaica has so many yeah. But aren't the Trinidad team leaving from Jamaica to the tournament as well? Both teams are leaving from here to the tournament. I think Trinidad should be leaving today because they have a game Saturday at 5. All right, let me see if I can get my my coach to come on right now. Just give me a sec, people. Let me call him. See, he has coached against Cuba on a few occasions and had some victories and some defeats as well. So just hold on, people. Okay, so he's going to be ready in 3 minutes so we can get some perspective on what we can do to counter Cuba. All right. Yeah. But listen, all the best to the players, man. All the best to the players. Like none of the players are at fault for being in the team. All right. So we can't really blame them for being selected. We can blame them based on performance, but we can't blame them based on being selected. They they were selected, and they are the players we have to work with. All right. Yeah. So yeah, let's just hope for the best of the players. Big up Jason. He says it really says a lot when our best attacker is a defender. Yeah. 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 All right. I hear you. Thank you, Dorothy Griffiths. Yeah, really appreciate that. Yeah. At this point, listen, we have to just listen. Some of these kids are 15 years old, right? So please, we have to be guarded in how we talk about them. You know, some of the times I listen to some of the things, I think we forget that we're talking about 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds. We're talking about minors, right? And They didn't select themselves. All right. Peso, you're leader at fight and thing. No fighting in the comment section, please. I already have a fight going on with Rob Smith and Kevin, and you notice I haven't brought attention to it. So no more fights, man. Come on, man. But we have to encourage the players because they did not select themselves. Yeah. Coaches selected them. Whether we think we may think like they should not have been, but they did not select themselves. So we can't come out here and be knocking the players and all of that. No, we can't do that, right? And yeah, I like this bless 227. They were selected and deserve to be proud because of it. Person selected them to represent the country. That's something to be proud of, no matter what. Absolutely. And so let's find a way to encourage these youngsters. You can talk about their games, but please remember that these are minors, right? They're minors. They are minors. And if you know any of them, listen, text them, man. Tell them all the best. Big them up. That's what we should be doing today, because they're leaving tomorrow. Not, yo, him not good and him shouldn't be on this side because I'm listen, come on, man. This could be your son. It could have been your brother, could have been your nephew. I can just imagine some of the family members on these streams listening to some of the things that are being said about their kids. It must hurt them. And like they did something, right? And I know the frustration as fans that we have, but let's not take it out. All right. Yeah. Before the game says management, I agree, they are minors. Are our leaders in the region setting them up, setting them up, the players for success? Chop deck. Chop deck, the easy though. Sometimes I have to laugh. Big up yourself, chop deck. I can't manage. All right. I need somebody from Trinidad and Tobago to call and talk to me about their expectation. Where are the Trini people? Call in on WhatsApp, man. 876-373-6449. If you're from Trinidad and Tobago, please call in. Let us know what are your expectations of the team from Trinidad and Tobago for this under-17 tournament. I'm going to call back our coach, so I'm going to be mute for a while. Somebody from Trinidad, we need to hear from you. What are your expectations of All right. I am sure fans and listeners and viewers, we have online with us Coach Andrew Edwards. Coach Andrew Edwards is a former under-17 coach for Jamaica. And he has played a couple of times in a couple of tournaments against Cuba with the Jamaican team. He's an educator, like I said. He just came out of the classroom, so he has found a very nice and quiet place to have a conversation with us, and I am sure sports. So we're going to ask him a few questions. Coach Edwards, welcome to the show, and thank you for joining.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate the opportunity as always, and blessings to the viewers and listeners out there.
All right, wonderful. All right, so can you just tell us, please, how many games you as a coach played against Cuba at the under 17 level, what the results of those games were, what the tournament was that you participated in, and if you could, just talk to us about, how they play.
Yeah, in 2014-15, that campaign, it was my first as head coach. We played them in the Caribbean Championships as well as in the CONCACAF Championships. In the Caribbean Championships, we blew them away 3-0.
Yes.
In the CONCACAF game, the game ended, I think it was 1-1.
1-1.
Or nil-nil. I don't remember.
It was 1-1.
Yes, Donovan Dawkins scored the goal for us in that game. I remember now.
The former JC player.
Right, correct.
Yeah.
In reflecting, I think that result was the result that really denied us a place at the World Cup more than any other. Certainly in terms of how we had planned the campaign. Because I remember, based on the format, we were in Group A with Honduras, Guatemala, Cuba, Trinidad, and the US of A. And in our planning, we sort of conceded that first game against Honduras was the host country would have been a touch and go game, which we would likely not get a good result from. And then we thought that we would always be better than Guatemala. And based on the results in the Caribbean Championship, we felt very confident of the two Caribbean teams. And then we thought that based on the fact that the USA would have played everybody else before they came to us, they likely would have fatigue and suspensions, etc., would have given us a very good chance against them. As it were, everything went according to plan except that game against Cuba. Hindsight will teach us a lot of things. But in the moment, I think we made an ash of that situation because we were definitely much better than the Cubans. We should have won that game comfortably. That said, though, in 2017,
do you remember some of the players that were a part of that 2015 squad, just so that you can jog people's memory?
For Jamaica?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. The goalkeepers were Jamali Waite and Huntsman. What's his name again? Akeem. He's from Waterhouse. He had the fire burn on the house some time ago.
Chambers?
Chambers, right. And then you have Peter Lee Pastel, Deshane Beckford from Western Jamaica, Alex Marshall, Shandale Senior was the captain himself, and Jawani was as Wolmer's at Calabar,
right.
Then went to Wolmer's.
Wolmer's, right.
There was a player from Calabar. Yeah, man, Calabar that went to Georgia as well, Akeem Williams, very good midfield player. And then we had brought in a couple of kids from the US. Zaire Bartley was one of them. Nathaniel Adamo Luton. And I see the young man face, I can't remember his name right now. His father played for Excelsior. Is a part of the Ali Rose.
Chris Bailey?
No, not Bailey. Not Bailey, man.
Samba?
Samba. So it's Samba's boy. Haman in name.
Yeah.
Haman,
yeah.
Yeah, man. But that was Dawkins, as I mentioned before, right? Those are the I think I probably touched everybody.
Yeah, so that was
my name Chiga Javier Brown. He played in that team as well.
So that's the 2015 team.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Right. In the preliminary series, we had some other kids, like a guy named Barnes from Roughy, Shorty Malcolm's son, Stephen Malcolm Jr., a guy from Trelawney named Charles surname there. I don't remember his surname, but I remember him very well. Went to Mushet.
How long did you have the team? Because you coached 2015, 2017. That's like 4 years. So how long did you have the team?
All right. So for the 2015 team, that group of players were really scouted in the main by Coach Downsell and Coach Omar Edwards. I was away in Germany studying at the time. So when I came back to Jamaica in August 2014, the team was already in preparation phase with weekend camps and so on. So I didn't really try to adjust the team in any way or shape when I came back. We just kind of picked it up. You know, Coach Downsell made a pretty smooth handover. And we played the first preliminary round down at Arnett Gardens. We played against the U.S. Virgin Islands, I think Guadeloupe. And there was one other team, I don't remember. I remember we win all the games. In one of the games we scored, I think, 21 or 22 goals. Justin McMaster scored, I think, 4 goals that game. Dawkins had about 5 or 7 in that game.
Okay. I think, do you think like not because Jamaica has done well, so what that means is that they didn't play the preliminary competition like what you had. This team now just goes straight to the main tournament and there's no preliminary tournament. Do you think that could be affecting like the team's readiness? Like if they had to play through the preliminary tournaments, it would better able the coaches to kind of fine-tune the team for the main tournament, like how you had it in 2015.
100%. When you have the opportunity to play games and to measure your players in competitive environment, that you are superior to the other opposition, it tells you a lot about the team. And you get a chance to really fix things better than you can ever fix things in a practice environment, you know, and to make the necessary adjustments. And it tells you a lot about the personality of the players, too, because you don't definitely find yourself in adverse situations as well as in situations where things are pretty much going to plan. And one of the things also that you learn about yourself and the team is that how you deal with those situations, you know, because the truth is when you are winning, it is it's very difficult to see weaknesses and faults in yourself and the team. And so also having that opportunity to lose in a competitive situation before the real deal, so to speak, is also a very good and healthy thing. The fact that we have done well and no longer play preliminary rounds is not necessarily a bad thing. I think what is required going forward is that we will be a little bit more shrewd in the way we handle the preparation in terms of, like, for example, we could easily have the national team playing a tournament in the US or in Europe, you know, which would be a competitive environment that you can learn from. As a matter of fact, that's the team that we mentioned earlier, that 2015 team, also played in the all-schools competition that we just played recently.
Right. So instead of, you're right, they also...
instead of the all-school team that was normally, it was the national under-17 team that went.
Yes.
You know, and incidentally, that year was the first time that the Jamaica team did not win that tournament.
Yes.
Yeah, but not winning the tournament was, in my opinion, a blessing in disguise, you know, because it actually kind of brought the players down to earth in a sense and reminded them that if we don't pay attention to details and be consistent with those things, then, you know, we can get hurt, you know. So I think it's just a matter of being creative and smart about how we go forward now. I can see also, you know, one of the things that I was always lobbying for while I was at the JFS was for the gear sponsor, the kit sponsor, to sponsor a competition for that level. So now that we have an Adidas, for example, I don't know if it's late, but why not have a JFS Adidas under 15 invitational competition? So we can now
and you can even invite other Caribbean nations or even club teams like the same.
You would invite other countries or club teams that are sponsored by Adidas.
Yeah. That's a good thought.
Yeah. So, and it's not a new idea. You know, the US have the Nike Cup that they play in the
Yes.
United States. I have actually gone and watched it live. I see Portugal, Brazil, USA, and Turkey played that year when I went. You understand? And it was extremely competitive. And that's one of the advantages that countries like the US have over us. Literally, they play like when you do this, if you go down into the mathematics of it, right? A boy who's playing for the US at under 17 is likely to have upwards of 30, 40 international games for the US already. When our players are walking out onto the pitch with probably 2, 3 are making the debut, you know. So that is something that I think we have to try and fix going forward.
Yeah.
You
All
know,
right. Yeah, man. That's a brilliant point, though. I hope that person are listening and see if there's a possibility of that happening. But go to the 2017 tournament, because you were also at the head of the team. You'd have had more time because you were back now from your course in Germany. Unlike the first team that you picked up along the way, this is a team that you'd have probably started from scratch.
Correct.
Yeah.
However, in terms of time with the team and resources with the team, it wasn't the same. You know, so even though I would have been here myself and on the ground from day one and everything, we didn't have the same amount of time in terms of camps and resources, you know, to make the camps and to travel, etc. So it wasn't the same kind of preparation, but I'm not putting that forward as an excuse in your thought, to be very clear, because in spite of that, I think the federation at the time, led by Captain Boyle, did make an extremely bold effort to give us most of the things that we asked for. So we actually, in that time, had practice games here in Jamaica against the USA and Canada, as well as Cuba. All right. So in that campaign, we ended up playing Cuba. Was that gonna be 4 times? So 2 times in practice games, 1 time in the Caribbean
Championship.
Right. So it would be 3 times. So we didn't play them in the CONCACAF. So 3 times. So 2 practice games and the Caribbean.
Didn't they defeat you though in the championship? 1-0?
In the championship?
Oh, that was a practice game.
It probably would have been one of the practice games because I don't quite remember the results, but the only team I remember losing to in the Caribbean Championships is Haiti. I don't remember losing to any of the other teams in the Caribbean in the two campaigns. I could be wrong, but that's my recollection at the moment. You know, so and I remember losing to Haiti in the final. No, we did lose to Cuba in the Caribbean Championship, but that's true.
Yeah, I think we got 1-0.
Yeah, man, in Trinidad. We lost to them in Trinidad.
In Trinidad,
and ended up playing the 3rd place against Trinidad. I remember now.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's kind of the situation with that campaign. It wasn't a successful CONCACAF run for us by any stretch of the imagination. You know,
and who are some of the players now that were in this particular team, if you can remember them?
Yeah, man. So the goalkeepers were Daniel Russell. Was at Cuba at the time, left and went to JC.
Right, and he's at Mount Pleasant now in the Premier League.
Right. Tajay Griffith, who was at Inwood and then went to Woolman. Janine White was a goalkeeper in that group as well. I don't think Janine played any of the games though. I don't remember him playing in any of the competitive games. We had Damani Osai from Virginia in that group. What are some of the other people who was that team again? Memory not so hot.
2017 wasn't the Manchester player in midfield a part of that team?
Yeah, Marlando Maxwell.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played a couple of games in the preliminary phase. He didn't make the final cut. Really and truly struggling to remember quite a few of the players in that particular group. There were a couple of KC boys now. I remember one of them called Tilly, Scarlett, Diamond.
Who is them? I know Diamond correct name, you know. Oh my lord.
Russell, Horace Ramsey is Tilly.
You're right, Horace Ramsey, yes.
Scarlett is Campbell. Scarlett's surname is Campbell. I don't remember what Campbell name now. Diamond, I can't remember Diamond correct name. He plays the Harbour View though.
Diamond play midfield.
Yeah, man, he played midfield, but he was playing at left back at the time. I think.
It's not Priestley.
Priestley, Akeem Priestley.
Yeah,
man. Let's go again. That good. Wow. Really. Oh, we had another kid from overseas named Kendall Edwards. And one named Blake White.
Yeah. No Western player was on that team.
Yeah, man, there were Western players. I just not remembering them off the cuff like that.
Okay,
yeah.
I think there's States players on the 2017 team.
Man, Chris Andrew Dixon.
Chris Andrew Dixon. Yeah.
And then there was another tall guy who played wing. I don't remember my name. But those information can easily be found on the internet. Because if you go back and search, CONCACAF will have them on the website.
Yes. Yeah, but talk to me now about the Cuban style of play and formation, given that you have played so many games against them.
All right. So generally speaking, they always set up in a 4-3-3. All of their teams, they set up in a 4-3-3. Depending on the level of the opposition, they might play with 2 6s or they might play with 6, 8, and 10. The 10 is usually the most talented player in them team. And usually very, 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 very technically competent. Then they usually have fairly decent wingers and striker. The 2 centre backs, they have to ask my question, they're big monsters. Big bodies, and people will get at you physically. Outside of that, I don't think that you can say that they will always be organized and you can see clearly their structure, and the patterns of play usually are pretty straightforward. They like to get the ball in. They usually, if they're starting at the back, generally they will probably play to one of the centre backs, then the wing back. Then they try to maybe come inside and then switch it to the other side, to the winger. If they get it up to the 10, then the 10 is the one who's going to play it outside, and then they try to work a lot with crosses. Depending on the quality of the wingers, they probably will try to go past and then cross, or they'll try and cross early. Sometimes if they have confidence and quality, then the wing back will come into play, and the variation is usually overlap and cross, or play back, the winger playing back to him and him stop it and cross it. But their biggest strength is usually trying to play you and crossing. And where the opportunity presents itself for them to outrun you, they will do that. But I mean, with Jamaica, they never really have the speed to outrun us. None of the teams that I've coached, they never really do that. So that is pretty much what I would expect from them.
Yeah, because we were in a tough zone because we were defeated 5-0 by the USA, I think, and 5-1 by Mexico. And I think the game that we won, we got a red card.
We beat El Salvador.
Yeah. But that team had Nicky Daly and Kaheem Paris.
Nicky Daly, right.
McIntosh, I think Richard McIntosh. Ricardo McIntosh.
Yeah, play cricket for Jamaica as well.
Yeah, and Jamai Topi was also on that team.
Correct, Topi.
Yeah, and Gibbons, Kimani Gibbons.
He was the captain of the team.
Yeah.
Kimani, Cavaliers.
Yeah. Okay, good to get your insight on what to expect of this Cuban team. I'm
not so sure. In 2023, you can assume that things are going to be the same.
Yeah, because I always wonder how they develop since the players play predominantly in Cuba. You always wonder that, because this squad that they have is a totally home-based group of players.
No, man, you're not going to see a Cuban youth national team with anybody from outside of Cuba. As a matter of fact, you hardly ever see that with a senior national team, much less a youth national. So all the players are going to be locally bred. But they have nice football in Cuba, nice stadiums, and they have pretty good development programs there. I've been there a couple of times myself. And they have a pretty decent setup at the federation, with good structures in terms of the development and the ideas that they want to communicate and develop.
Yeah. I mean, have you been following this Jamaica U17? Or you don't?
Not deeply. I would say more superficially than deeply.
Okay.
Not by design, but just because opportunities have been limited. For example, I wanted to go and watch a game yesterday on a state, but I was to be at a meeting in Kingston yesterday at the very same time. So
finally, sorry.
Circumstances really kind of mitigated,
Yeah. Finally, what I want to ask you is, I was saying earlier that in general preparation, just management, that I normally play my hardest team in preparation early because I want to learn from my defeats. Then I play like the team that it is going to be closer in terms of competition, in terms of practice games and preparation. As it gets closer to the competition, I play the easier teams, right? So that I can build confidence and then probably play one tough opponent. But if I have 3 games, I'm playing 2 easy teams in the run up to the competition with one tough team, so that I at least can go in with confidence that I defeated and dominated a couple of teams and stuff. How do you normally do your preparation generally in terms of practice games?
All right, so that's one school of thought, and it has its merits and its demerits. Just as a sidebar, supplementary, the FIFA recommends based on studies that they have done, and if you look at especially the top international teams, this is almost a guaranteed year model where they play, I think, about 40 to 60% of their games against teams that are evenly matched. And then the other 40 to 60% against teams that are superior and teams that are of lesser quality. So that is usually distributed evenly.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's one thing there. Just for information purposes. Now, in terms of how I have done it in the past, it's a mix of what you just described, but more so, especially at this stage, like just before a competition, it was always about more what you anticipate from the other opponent.
Yes.
So like my MO when I was in charge of the team was to always try to focus all of the efforts in preparation for the first game, right? And in so doing, you want to have opposition that have style of play as close to that team as possible. So even, for example, when we were preparing the team and we play against a Waterhouse or a Arnett Garden or a Portmore, we would ask the teams to set up similar to what we anticipate the Cuba or America would be doing. So, like, when I had the team, we played a lot of games against the Premier League teams, and a lot of kudos to them. They were very, very supportive, very, very helpful in helping us to get to the levels that we wanted to get to. So, like, going back to that Honduras tournament again, for example, in 2015, right? We actually mirrored the tournament prior to leaving Jamaica. So what we did was to set practice games with the Premier League teams. Like, I remember Arnett Garden, Tivoli, Portmore, Waterhouse. I don't remember what else was it with us. But we actually set the games to be played as close to the game times that we were going to be playing.
Okay.
And with the same spacing in between the games. So in that tournament, we played a game, I think, every 3 days. So we had 48 hours between games. And we actually played the practice games similarly. And we literally start with the teams and ask them as far as possible to try and mirror their game based on what we expect the opponents that we were going to be playing to do.
Wow, that is good preparation. And I never thought about that. That you spoke to the team you're going to play against to tell them to set up in the same way based on scouting report about the teams in
Yeah,
the
man.
tournament and
And
simulate
talking
the game time and all of that.
everything. So
Yeah.
talking about scouting the team, that's one of the other things that
Let me just say this to you. Hold on before you get to the scouting. Simon Preston from Reggae Boys commentary says, big up Coach Edwards, a wealth of knowledge and a gem to Jamaican football. All right. And he also says, management, the Guatemala, if you're hoping and looking at possible New Jersey for the Jamaica game in April. Awesome. Anywhere it's gonna be, I'm gonna be there. Thank you, Simon. But go ahead, Coach Andrew. You're talking about you were just going to say something about and speaking about scouting.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Simon, for the compliment. Yeah, I was saying that when it came to scouting, the JFF actually supported scouting missions for myself and Omar, who was the assistant at the time,
Okay.
to Costa Rica and I think it was Panama. So we actually went and watched the Central American Championships and playoffs, and we had video and data on all of those teams. We had the squad roster. Obviously, the Caribbean teams, we knew them. The US team, Chile team, all is up on the internet, so it was easy to scout them. Yeah. So we actually had very, very good data. And I must use this opportunity to really big up Captain Burrell in absentia. Now this is and the technical staff that I had at the time. We had Warren Barrett at one stage. At one stage, for goalkeeping coaches, it was Spider, and at another stage, it was Paul Campbell. We had Andre Waugh as a physical trainer.
Yes.
We had what's her name again? We had a nutritionist from UTech. I can't remember her name now. On the team, Juicy Bell was the team manager, and trust me, that is a man that Simon talk about wealth and knowledge.
Yes.
It don't get bigger and better than Juicy Bell.
Yes,
trust me.
definitely. That's a good team, man. That's a good team. Given yeah.
Yeah, but having Juicy Bell in my corner was immense. I mean, immense. The level of experience and knowledge that man brings. I think in the final competition, though, it was Roy Simpson who came with us. And, I mean, Roy is not at the same level of experience as Juicy, but a top professional in terms of team management. And I think it is important that we big up all of those people. I might have left out a person or two here. We have, in terms of physiotherapy, I think that is when Bujo joined the program, because he came in as our, not physiotherapy, massage therapist.
Yes.
We actually had sports psychology too with that team. I can't remember the persons after that, but I remember Khadija Richard did a couple of sessions.
Yes.
Yeah, but there was a guy, can't remember his name now, he was actually studying at GC first at the time, sports psychology, and he would come to training almost every day, all of the practice matches, did a lot of good work with the kids. We had the massage therapy, as I mentioned before, and we had good physiotherapy. Don't remember who was our physiotherapist for that. I think the doctor who came with us for that, his name again, I can't see his face, but I can't remember him now. Ivor, I think them call him Ivor. I remember his name right. But yeah, we had a very good team, and we did some real quality preparation. I kid you not. People who were aligned with the JFF at the time used to make the comment that, never before in the history of the JFF they saw a youth team getting this kind of preparation and the kind of resources, because that team in 2015 was the very first youth team, I am told, that ever traveled with that much staff in place in terms of goalkeeper, coach, physiotherapist, and all of that kind of stuff, So I think it's important that we have a lot of complaints against the JFF all the while, but that is one situation where I was personally involved, where I can put my hand up and say, Captain didn't hold back on anything at all. We got about everything that we asked for to have had success. It just wasn't to be, in my opinion. Because, to lose in a penalty shootout the way we did was just really painful. But yeah, it's part of the journey.
Yeah, I see Simon saying Norman Stone was the equipment manager.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Norman Stone. Well, he wasn't always, because I think Stone only came to those tournaments where Mark couldn't go. That's
Okay.
Holmes, Lloyd Holmes.
Lloyd Holmes.
Call
Yes.
him Mark. Yeah, call him Mark or Marky. Yeah.
Listen, Coach Edwards, lots of information. I want to thank you for coming on and sharing this. Really, really appreciate your thoughts and your insights into the Cuban team and just what happened 2015, 2017, the kind of support that was there for the team. We all wish this team all the best as they go after the tournament. I mean, much has been said, but we are quietly confident that the young players will put in workman-like performance and Jamaica will have some good success. So thanks for your time as usual. And it's always a pleasure speaking with you.
Absolute pleasure to do it myself, man. Respect.
Yeah, man. Enjoy the rest of the day.
All right, cool.
All right. Bye. All right, that was Coach Andrew Edwards. We have someone as well from Trinidad and Tobago who is going to call in and just from their perspective give us their take on the expectations of Trinidad and Tobago in this under-17. They played Jamaica, as you know, in 2 friendly games, having not had any leading up to that, but they were in camp. They lost both games, but sometimes in practice games, more is learned from the losses than the actual victory. I also have Unseen Sports TV, the man himself, Javan Parchment, who has joined. Sir Parchment, what say you? And let me, as I accept this call, hold on. All right. Welcome to I Am Sure Sports, Mr. Trinidad and Tobago himself. I'm going to ask you to hold on. Hold on. Welcome to I Am Sure Sports, Mr. Trinidad and Tobago himself. I'm going to ask you to hold on for just a minute as Unseen Sports TV is here with me and he wants to say something.
This one is one.
Yeah, man, go ahead, Unseen.
This one is one. Good day to everybody. Persons in the comment section, reggae boys commenting. Everybody. You know, I was listening to the program and stuff. Learned a lot of stuff from Coach. What's his name again?
Edwards, Andrew Edwards.
Coach Andrew Edwards. And you know, I remember that team that lost to USA and penalty shootout with Karim Paris and that's Alex Marshall.
Yeah.
And his man. Right, and yeah, that team was doing well. Though it's just, I would say that, well, it's just unfortunate. And yeah, that was a good team, and his man, it's a good team. And I think if we can, you know, get preparation time like that team, and get the right coach behind the youngsters, we can make it. Can go ahead.
Yeah. All right. I see. Let me just take these comments. Triple E, welcome to the show. I'd hope Andrew Edwards is part of the JFF discussion on any under-17 lessons learned discussion for future endeavors. Then Reggae Boys commentary, Simon says, arguable Trinidad and Tobago best player Rio Cardenas did not play both games due to not having his passport. I really hope he has gotten his passport. Also want to big up, I see Direct Football. Let me get that one. Has been making lots of comments. I've missed some of them. They're gone all up the bar. Having some issues with the comment section. Sometimes I don't know what is happening. I keep missing them. But this one says, J. Taylor, Direct Footballer. Welcome to the chat and big up as well. Yes, Mr. Trinidad and Tobago himself. Talk to us. What are your expectations of the team from Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Andre, Coach Andre?
Good afternoon, management.
Good afternoon.
You and guests. Unseen.
Good afternoon.
How you doing, boss?
I'm okay, man. I'm okay.
Trinidad and Tobago team. Management is a difficult one. Trinidad, I know the coach. The coach is a very experienced coach in this competition. From the perspective that he's been to this tournament at least 3 times.
I heard that he has been at the team. He has been at the team since 2011.
No. like most Caribbean countries, Trinidad do the part-time coach thing as well. So he's coached the team in 2011 and again in 2013, but that's not on a full-time basis when the tournament came up. I believe 2015 as well.
Okay.
There was no tournament in 17. Somebody else did it in 19. And now he has it again in 22. So he's very experienced in that regard. And I believe he's doing his best to prepare the team for the tournament. But he's only had the team for 6 months, which is, I think, what most coaches in the region face. I know that the team played 2 games in Jamaica against the Jamaica national team. I've only seen, I believe, what you have seen as well, the first 15 minutes before the stream was stopped, or
Yes.
15 or 20 minutes, however long that was. So it's very difficult for me to give an objective analysis of those few minutes, because those are, as you mentioned earlier, those are young kids, and at that level, at that age, you can be very good today, and we see something different tomorrow. So it's very hard to be objective in that regard. But the results though, um, suggest that the both teams are pretty even. It didn't seem as though there was a big disparity in the teams. And the one concern about Trinidad is that, just based on the outcome, that they gave up 2 penalties in 2 games, that suggests that there may be something to fix there. But when we look at the tournament management, Trinidad and Tobago is in a very tough group with USA, Canada,
Yes, and Barbados.
and Barbados. And I think, in all honesty, if you take the whole picture into consideration, the fact that there's been no football in Trinidad for about 3 years, and most of these players are on the island, a third place finish is what they probably would be looking at. In their minds, they would think that that's achievable. Historically, Trinidad and Tobago has been able to get results in Canada, so you can't dismiss. I mean, this is tournament football, and as a coach myself, anything can happen in tournament football sometimes. So you can't rule out a second place finish. But as far as the tournament goes, if Trinidad and Tobago would have come third, as they themselves might set as their goal, they could run in to the next opponent would be from the group with Haiti, the group that has Haiti, Suriname, El Salvador, and Honduras. So let's, for the sake of argument, assume that Haiti wins that group. That's going to be a difficult thing to get by in the round of 16.
Yeah.
Be a very difficult.
Whoa. I thought I was saying that I think their running is easier than Jamaica, though their group is tougher than Jamaica's group. That was my initial thought, but now you're saying that even going up against Haiti may be a very stern test for them.
Yeah, that's going to be a difficult test. I mean, that group, Suriname, El Salvador, Honduras is in that group as well.
Yeah.
They all could be formidable opponents. And if history repeats itself and we're able to get result against Canada, and come second in that group, we're looking at possibly El Salvador, potentially, or somebody else from that group, and then potentially Costa Rica or Puerto Rico. So I think it would be a very difficult passage for the Trinidad and Tobago team. But it's football, and football doesn't always play out. It's played on the pitch, and it doesn't always play out tournament football in particular in the way in which we expect it.
Yeah. I see here someone is saying that Reggae Boys commentary is saying, this is Simon Preston, that arguably Trinidad and Tobago best player Rio Cardenas did not play both games due to not having his passport. Are you aware if that matter has been resolved? If it is so,
I don't know that he's Trinidad and Tobago best player. I don't know what Reggae Boys has based in that on.
He said arguably, so it is it probably a little bit of opinion based with facts.
But I think he's probably basing that on his background, which is not out there, and the fact that he plays overseas in England. But I think he's still trying to resolve his passport situation.
But
That
wouldn't
probably should
wouldn't
be resolved.
wouldn't the squads have been named already?
Yeah, the squad has been named, and he's in the squad. I think it's one of those things where
they're willing to take a risk on it.
Well, I don't think it's a risk. It's one of those things that you need this piece of paperwork, you need that piece of paperwork. Again, he's coming out of England, so it might have taken some time to get things completed. So, but he's expected, that situation is expected to be resolved, as far as I understand.
Okay. Okay, so your first game is on Saturday, 5 p.m. versus Canada. Yeah, you expecting a positive result from that one?
Look, with football, there's a lot of things. You just had a coach on that seemed to have a tremendous amount of experience, and he was talking about the fact that when he had the team, how they would ask the opponent in Jamaica to set up like the opponent they would be playing to help the team prepare for those games, which is smart, which is cooperation. But the game yesterday, I don't know, you can correct me. Was the game 3.5 hours away?
Yes, because they were in Kingston. So it's
Right.
around 3 hours away. Yes.
3 hours away. So that's 6 to 7 hours round trip. And then have to travel to the destination tomorrow. It's hard to tell what would happen.
I thought they would be leaving Jamaica today to head to the tournament.
I believe they're leaving tomorrow.
Oh,
but don't quote me on that. But those things weigh on players. It makes it difficult to think. That journey alone could have its effect. But you have to think that the football matches are played on the pitch. If we think we know the results, then we don't have to play the game. We shouldn't play the game. So the fact that the game has to be played, anybody could win the game. So I think Trinidad just need to go into the game with confidence and do their best and see what happens in the end.
All the players on this team and on the roster, with the exception of Cardenas, they all play in the league in Trinidad. Do they play professionally in Trinidad or just in the schoolboy league? And could that be a disadvantage?
Yeah, I think most of them play in the schoolboy league. We haven't had professional football for a long time, for about 3 years. There are a few players that is out from overseas. Rio, as you mentioned, and there's a couple others. Ito is based in the U.S. Moore is based in the U.S. He's the brother Shaquille Moore that plays for the U.S. Jamiaca is based in the U.S. I believe. Who else is based in the U.S.? I believe. I don't want to guess at anyone else. Yeah. I know those two for sure. Wilson, I think there's a Wilson on the roster that's coming out with the U.S. as well, I believe.
Yeah. Do you have the same problem like in Jamaica? Who is better, the players in Trinidad or the players who are overseas? Do you have that same battle?
That seems as though it exists throughout the Caribbean. I'm not so sure it exists. I think the mindset probably should be that they are all eligible to represent whichever island it is, and we need to select the best from them. There's the argument about opportunities for players on the island, giving them opportunities to be seen overseas, but then the opportunity is not worth anything if you're not prepared to make use of it. Because our under 20, we haven't had football for a long time. Our under 20 played in the last under 20 qualifier, and nobody walked away with a contract, right? So with any opportunities while other countries have. So we have to be preparing them compete with the guys coming in from the outside so we can pick the best team possible. And I think that should be the standard in all the islands.
Yes.
It's unfortunate that it is.
Yeah. All right, all right. Well, good thoughts from what is happening in Trinidad and Tobago there from Andre, our friend from Trinidad. I want to thank him for coming on and giving his thoughts. I know a lot of persons are running off the stream because they heard that Leeds is leading Manchester United by a goal to nil. So we're going to let them go and watch that. But thank you so much, Andre. We'll be following what is happening, and we may do a little watch along for the Trinidad and Tobago game. So let's see. So we can follow what's happening with the Caribbean teams in this tournament.
Right, and I hope maybe you go back and look at the goal that Jamaica scored yesterday. It looked like it was offside, but you finally got 2 wins in a row. So
didn't Jamaica score a penalty?
No,
yeah.
The goal in the first game, probably. Yeah, in the first game, sorry. The goal from the first game.
Oh, it was
No, that's not the offside.
It was not?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The clip that I saw, it looked like it could have been. But again, it's hard to tell from being so far away.
That's not the best angle. I mean, it wasn't a professional
videographer.
Okay. All right, but you get 2 wins, man.
Well, it don't matter. It don't matter. You don't qualify for anything. You don't get it anywhere.
Yeah, fair enough. But thanks for having me on.
You're welcome, man. All right, enjoy the rest of the day. All right.
Take care.
All right,
take care, brother.
Yeah. Unseen look like he's not hearing.
No, I'm hearing one.
Okay. All right. So people, Unseen, I'm going to give you your last words. We're going to go right after this because we have an NFL show that we're supposed to be doing shortly with Preacher. Manchester United down a goal to nil to Leeds. In the 13th minute of the game, McKinney has made his debut. All right. Fred has come into the starting 11. As you know, Casemiro is out this one. Unseen, what say you? Go ahead as we're about to close out our show today.
So, I would like you to tell me a little about what you discussed in the earlier part. I didn't know. Just give me a brief summary.
A brief summary? Unseen. No, man, just go back, go watch a video. Even give you that you don't have to watch the videos. The views are important, man. Go back.
No, man, you know me watch it same way. Now.
Then if you're going to watch it, why I need to go back and tell you?
No, because I want to say something now because I don't know me the taxi because we don't know the main points. All right, the main points then.
I went through the starting 11. What are the expectations of the starting 11 in terms of how they will play, which is on the screen? I spoke about how the coach should have structured, in my opinion, and staggered the games so that the games are actually played in such a way that the final games are easy games where the team could dominate so that they could have greater confidence going into the tournament. I spoke about the need that none of the players selected themselves, and therefore it is for the fans to support the players, even if they have a problem with the coach. I looked at the Cuban team and the age group of the players in the Cuban squad coming into this tournament and the teams that they play for, and all of that. So yeah, that was basically the beginning of the show, what we discussed.
Okay, so my little small summary, man, is one that I believe that these players, they can take us to the promised land if we start to score some goals.
Yeah.
I believe that the defensive system cannot work in every game. We're going to need to outscore teams. That means the attacking players have to be scoring goals. Now, that is my concern. I don't see them scoring. They get chances, but not scoring. And that is basically upon the coach based on the players that he selected. No out-and-out striker. Players that work, which means that we are going to defend. So most of the time, sit behind the ball and run. And we're not going to slow down the game and try to make some passes and score some and get some opportunity. Man is one.
Yeah.
I don't know. We just have to see the first game coming this Sunday, right? And then, we can take it from there with our speculation and prediction. You understand me? Because I've been watching USA play 4 months back and thing with a team, and I think they may had a couple other players, from Liverpool and Barcelona, if I'm right, and Germany, Frankfurt in their squad. So, and watching them playing against Argentina, they lost that game 2-1, I think, but USA got a lot of opportunity. They're creating a lot of.
Yeah, but why are we discussing the USA though?
I'm just giving the people a little.
But are we going to play the USA?
Yeah, if we want to qualify,
Why?
we're gonna play them either the quarterfinal or the semifinal, one of the two.
So if we play them in the semi-final, we already qualified, don't it?
Yeah, but is it the qualification alone they're worrying about? What about the World Championship?
What? So I'm not worried about the World Championship. I'm worried about the qualification. I'm just asking why we're discussing the USA team.
I'm just saying because we can end up playing them
in
the quarterfinal, or so in order for us to qualify, that we can beat the top 4 teams. That's all I'm saying. All right, man.
Okay, all right, bossy. I hear you, bossy. I hear you. All right, people, that is unseen for you. All right, remember, we have a couple of things coming up. One is that we have the NFL discussion coming up with the preacher. And then at 5, we have some expert from out of England on what is happening at Manchester City. And so they are going to be joining the show at 5. I want to thank all our viewers and subscribers for being a part of I Am Sure Sports. Big up to all the other vloggers who watched and were part of it. Big up to Unseen. So we don't have to play. Listen. Jamaica youth travels. We don't have to play the USA before we qualify, so it's relevant. We don't have to yet. We don't have to check the bracket. None of us know who is coming out. You don't know what position the USA is going to come out in, what position, right? So you're just assuming if we come second or if we come. We don't know. We don't have to play them. We could play them. You can't use the term have to. All right, please, And I'm not saying that we are going to qualify. I am just saying that we can qualify. It is possible though. Yeah, man, it's possible. So that's what I'm saying, that because it is possible, we should probably wait a little later to see what position we're going to finish, what position the USA going to finish before we get there. We are talking about USA before we talk about Cuba. We are talking about USA before we talk about Guadeloupe. We are talking about USA before we talk about Costa Rica.
We're supposed to brush past them team, man. If we can't brush past them team,
that is your opinion that Jamaica not supposed to brush past nobody, brother.
What?
Unseen. No bother with no controversy.
Come on,
Unseen, no bother with no controversy.
Come on, man.
Unseen, man. No bother with no controversy, man. No bother with that, man. But brush pass. Unseen, no bother with that. What kind of brush pass you talking about, man? You think I close your wash, man? Anyway, people. M10. Yo, M10. You know, say M10. M10, Jano Star. You see M10 football. You see M10 football people. You see M10 football people. You see, big up yourself. Unseen. Sports TV. Big up yourself. Jamaican youth travels. Big up yourself. I'm sure improvement. Big up yourself. Ian Campbell.
Brush pass.
All the other persons, right? Big up on yourself. I am Manning's man. This has been I Am Sure Sports TV. We're gonna have a very interesting discussion at 5. Listen, if you are a football fan, you don't want to miss it. Trust me. I am Manning's man. This has been I Am Sure Sports TV. And when we get to this point of the show, we say we are over and we are OUT out of here.